Welcome back. The Prime Minister has retained record high approval ratings in the latest news poll by The Australian, despite weeks of grim economic news. In the Better PM stakes, 56% of people surveyed backed Scott Morrison, while support for opposition leader Anthony Albanese dropped to 26%.
Let's get today's take on this with Shelly Horton from 9honey.com.au and comedian Vince Sorrenti. Shelly, this follows a $60 billion accounting bungle and the news that Australia is in recession. Now, is this better for the Prime Minister, or is this saying that Anthony Albanese is in trouble?
Maybe a bit of both. Look, I think if the $60 billion had actually turned out that they had overspent it, it might have been more of a concern, but actually it meant that they had extra money in the coffers. So I actually think that this goes back to a bit of a theory called rally around the flag, and that's when everyone's feeling like they're at war, then they don't want change. And that's what I think that COVID has been for us. It has been like being at war. We've had bushfires, we've had COVID, we've had Black Lives Matter. Like, everyone is feeling fearful, so therefore they're not going to want a change in leader and have more upheaval.
Well, we have managed to smash that curve, Vince. I mean, do you think the PM's handling of the pandemic is the reason for the boost in voter support?
That's partly the reason, but I think generally there's an adage that leaders in difficult times do gain in popularity, and I think whatever side of the political fence you happen to sit on, it's a good thing that the majority of people support the leader at this time. I think this is what's particularly disconcerting about what's happening in the US at the moment. You know, in a global recession and a worldwide pandemic, you know, with the Black Lives Matter riots all over the world. I mean, we turn to the US for leadership, and their leadership is like a headless chicken at the moment. I mean, it's really a worry. So it's good that we're behind our leader, and that leader is making decisions that generally the public is behind.
True, but I hope the opposition is good, and Tony Abbott proved that you can make it a true art form and be really effective even during a GFC. What's the problem with Albanese here?
26%.
26%, Shelley?
Yeah, well, I think, look, maybe it is that they need to look at getting a stronger leader in opposition. I mean, I just kind of feel that at the moment we just don't want politics. We actually just want people leading. So I'm not sure. I mean, yes, Tony Abbott was strong in opposition, but he was also really annoying, and I just don't want to have all that annoyingness at the moment.
All right, also making news, Pete Evans has taken a swipe at the world's response to the coronavirus pandemic, complaining in a 60 Minutes interview that social distancing measures resulted in an unnecessary loss of free will and expressing concerns about his life. Let's take a listen.
I'll just make this one statement. If I disappear or I have a frickin' weird accident, it wasn't an accident, okay?
Vince, Pete claims his lifestyle protects him from COVID-19.
Look, I'm going to disappoint you all here. You're probably all expecting me to take the mickey out of Pete Evans, but I watched that interview last night and I see a really vulnerable person here. You know, he's had some upheavals in his life recently. Like, he was a big celebrity. People put a lot of credence into the things he said. Most things he said, by the way, I completely disagree with. But, like, it's a free country. He can say what he likes. I'm a little bit worried about Pete. I've had a couple of friends sort of go down these sort of paths with conspiracies and problems with their whole, outlook on life and their mental state. So, can I say, let's leave Pete alone? That's my opinion.
Wow, I've not heard that before. That's a really interesting take, Vince. Shelley, what do you think? I mean, viewers have slammed him. They say he's misleading with his opinions, that his opinions are dangerous, that people who do follow him will go down that same rabbit warren that Vince is saying, but also they'll hurt themselves because he's so influential. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's dangerous, and I think that what's happening now is it's almost he's becoming like a cult figure. And so cult figures have those followers that don't question anything that he says, and what we need to be doing is constantly questioning what he says. What I think the best result will be is don't give him any more airtime. The more that we talk about it, the more that we criticise him, the more publicity he's getting. So maybe he's lost his main gig, let things settle down, and if Vince is right, maybe he needs to take a little mental health break and just reorder his thinking.
Look, his current state is totally of our making. We made him a celebrity. We listened to what he had to say. That has empowered his current state of mind, and I think we need to leave it alone.
Okay.
Vince, I think it's an interesting take.
Yeah,
I really do.
I haven't heard it before, but I'm with you there. Now, Shelly and Vince, stay with us. When we come back, the real-life bride wars. The best friend labelled selfish for taking over the big day.
And Looney Tunes ban characters from using guns. Well, should other cartoons follow suit? And what's Acme going to say?
Welcome back. Elmer Fudd is going to have to find another way to hunt wabbits. Looney Tunes is banning characters from using guns, with the executive producer insisting Fudd will have to be more creative in his attempts to capture Bugs Bunny.
Shelly and Vince are still here to discuss this. Shelly, this is in response to increased gun violence in the United States, but it's cartoons. So is this a good idea?
Look, I actually don't know how they're going to do it, because if they're not using guns, they're using a big anvil or they're using a bomb or they're, it's cartoons. I'm just not sure if we'll get the same sort of comedy without the violence there. But I guess we do have to adapt. I remember when I was a kid having these lollies that looked like cigarettes and they were called fags. And that's what you would pretend to smoke them. And obviously they got banned because that wasn't setting a great example. So maybe this is just another example which this should actually get banned.
Yeah, I mean, they use bombs as well, but apparently they're going to still be used. Vince, Elmer's shotgun will be replaced with a scythe. What is
Scythe.
a scythe? What
Like
is
he's
that?
the Grim Reaper.
That-
Weeper. I almost said Weeper.
Sorry.
Look, it's absolutely ridiculous. The people that made these Looney Tunes cartoons 70 years ago are so much smarter than the politically correct idiots who are trying to change them today. Elmer Fudd carrying a gun is a very positive gun message. Here is an idiot hunter, with a silly voice who's constantly being outsmarted by a duck and a rabbit. He's a moron.
You're right.
This is a positive message. The PC people today they just can't get past some really simple issues. There was a survey done on Australian TV about 20 years ago now, looking into children's television. One of the conclusions they came up with was that Humphrey B. Bear wasn't wearing any pants.
Yes.
Now, I've watched Humphrey since I was a little boy. It never occurred to me that this guy is
a bear.
bottomless. I mean, it tells you a lot about the mentality of people that are looking at these issues, mate. Let Elmer Fudd have a gun, mate. The world is not crooked because
Mate,
of
it
Elmer
ruined
Fudd.
Humphrey's career. I mean, he's driving Ubers now. So a woman has been accused. Ubers.
Ubers.
So good. Anyway, a woman has been accused of hijacking her best friend's wedding after announcing her pregnancy on the big day. The woman says that she and her husband had been struggling to conceive for 5 years. They wanted to share the news with friends in person, but Vince, the bride, was furious. Should she be just happy for this friend? Or should her friend have actually waited till after that woman's big day?
Well, it took her 5 years. She could have waited another day to drop the big message.
point.
But I mean, a lot of guys just don't get this about spoiling the big day. I mean, I don't know. My mate got promoted to senior partner the other day. I didn't rock up to his party and say, "Hey, I just bought a new car." Sucked in.
You topped him. I mean, Shelly, who do you think is in the wrong here?
She's cancelled.
Oh,
Shelly.
no, this is Karen. Man, anyone who announces their pregnancy when another woman's having her big wedding is not a real friend. And I'm sorry, I agree with Vince. She could have waited another day. She could have sent out a group email. 5 years of waiting to get pregnant, not good enough reason to try and steal the thunder.
A couple of days before. She knew. She'd be like, "I'll be coming, but we're bringing a +1." She could make it cute.
Hey, maybe the father of that child was the groom.
Oh, wait a second.
Well, hang on
No,
a
then
minute.
you should
That's a
speak
little-
up.
Yeah,
Then
that's when you
should-
should speak up. It's just not like she could have even used I just had a few too many and I just,
Yeah.
she wasn't even drinking.
No,
So
she
she
couldn't.
use that
All
as
right.
an excuse.
Let us know what you think on Facebook and Twitter. Should that Karen be cancelled? Let us know. Vince and Shelly, great to see you
Thanks,
both.
guys.
Bye.
Coming up,
thumbs
coming up on today.